Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome. It is me, Victoria Baxter of the Saved and Single Ministry. I'm dropping all the different ways that you can actually connect with me, the website, Facebook, Instagram, private group, because honestly, I don't know where you're watching this right now. I shared a couple of different ways. It is May. I cannot believe it. Happy May. I hope you all are doing well. And if it is the first Saturday of the month, then it is time for the Sassy Saturday Special. I previously mentioned, that I was going to only be doing it once a month because I have other things going on with the ministry and with the business. So, what I want to talk about today, I'm not even going to get into everything else. What I want to talk about today, okay, we've got to talk about intimacy at the end of the day. Let's talk about intimacy because I realize it's something that some people tend to misunderstand. They use it inaccurately. Some people, they just automatically, it correlates to so many different things. Let's talk about it. When we look at the actual definition of intimacy, one of the definitions says a close familiarity or friendship, closeness. Another one says an intimate act, especially sexual intercourse. Now, it is said that there are four different kinds of intimacy. There's experiential intimacy, and this is when people bond during leisure activities. People may, sync up their actions in teamwork, or they find themselves acting in unison. This might be like a father and son working together to build something, developing an actual rhythm to their teamwork. The other type of intimacy would be emotional intimacy. This is when people feel safe sharing their feelings with each other, even those uncomfortable feelings and thoughts. This might be like a woman confiding in, her sister or somebody about, body image issues. Or this is, of course, when we have emotional intimacy, like even with men, with romantic partners. It's when you actually trust someone to offer comfort rather than using the insecurities against you. That's when you are emotionally intimate with someone. Another kind would be intellectual intimacy. This is when people feel comfortable sharing ideas and opinions even when they disagree. Maybe two friends actually debating the meaning of life. Maybe they enjoy hearing each other's opinions and they don't feel the need to win the argument. So that's when you can have intellectual intimacy. The last one that, of course, most people, when they hear intimacy, they immediately go to sexual intimacy. That it's when people engage in sensual or sexual activities. And a lot of times when people refer to this word, this is what they are talking about. Of course, this can be two lovers engaging in foreplay or sex, knowing how each other, prefers to be touched, the whole nine. So, like I said, typically, a lot of times when someone uses the word intimacy, they are referring to the act of having sex with someone, actual intercourse. And in some cases, it's used to refer to like as any sexual act. A lot of times, like even doctors, sometimes when's the last time that you've been intimate? If people are being nosy, well, of course, us before our pre-Jesus days, and they would be asking, have y'all two been intimate? Like they immediately go right into it has to be sex. And I think that is a huge, huge problem. As Christians, here's what I do know. I do know that Romans 12, 1 through 2 gives us a very, very clear warning, regardless of what everybody else is doing, regardless of how anyone else actually, view things. We are told to be a little bit different. We don't do things the way the world does things. We don't operate the way that the world actually operates. And what it says is, and so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind that he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. Verse 2. Do not copy the behavior and customs of the world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. And then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. It says, do not copy the behaviors and the customs of the world. And with a lot of people, it is customary to associate intimacy and sex, but that should not be our story. And even First Peter 2:9 talks about us being a royal priesthood. Listen, we are set apart, not set aside. And I know that a lot of single women believe that, like, I've been praying for a man, I've been, wondering about my husband, and I just feel like everybody else around me is, getting married and engaged and whatever else. And a lot of you feel like you are set aside and you're not. I promise you, you are set apart. That's what I need you to keep in mind. That's what I need you to remember and hold on to. But I'm going to leave that alone before I start preaching about something else. Intimacy, what I want you to know, intimacy is actually derived from the Latin word intimatus, which means into me, see. We should have a great intimate relationship with God, whereas we allow him to see, and we're earnestly, trying to see into him, where we should actually be knowing, um, you know, how he feels about us because we're walking closely with him and we have heard him tell us how he sees us, how he views us. And the problem with a lot of women, and especially single women, and y'all have to keep in mind, sorry, yes, I have the single women's ministry. Some of you already know I'm also Coach V, the new love strategist with New Thing Life Coaching. So when I talk to so many different women and I see that so many of them have low self-esteem and the way that they view themselves and the way that they see themselves, it breaks my heart because it's like, ugh, some of these women that feel this way are the same women who are frustrated with feeling like they are set aside. They are frustrated with being single. They are frustrated with not yet meeting a man or a good man and not yet, actually experiencing real love. I get it. I get it. I get it. But if you have low self-esteem, that is not good because to have low self-esteem, that kind of contradicts thinking that you are ready for a kingdom marriage and thinking that you are actually ready for real love. Because that means if you feel that way about yourself, you're not walking close enough with God. You're not. You're not. Okay. When you know that you are a daughter of the Most High God, when I tell you it completely changes the way you walk, the way you talk, it changes the way that you speak, it changes the way that you feel about yourself. There is no low self-esteem when you know that you're a daughter of the Most High God because you spend enough time in his presence and you hear him speaking to you. You hear him talking to you. You're not worrying about who actually rejected you. You already know, no, God has protected me. You already know, like, hey, my validation comes from him. You know that your value and identity are found in him. I'm not talking about, the love of God makes you just completely not want a man. I'm not saying that. I'm never going to be one of those people, someone, oh, I want a man. Oh, that means you don't have enough Jesus. No, we got to stop all of that because this is exactly why so many women are suffering in silence, settling in silence, going back and just thinking, okay, well, something is wrong with me. And that's when Satan starts having a field day with these women. Oh, Lord, do not get me started. Even in my quiet time this morning, and I went back to even thinking about Jacob, Leah, and Rachel from the Bible. I know I did a video on this like a couple of weeks ago, talking about Leah and Hagar from Genesis. But here's something that I do also know that we have to be mindful of. Because Leah, of course, for those of you who might not be all that familiar with the story, and I know I'm going to talk about this again later, but just briefly, because it's not really going to tie into what it is I want to talk about. But what I'll just say about Leah is that Leah was the sister that was given to Jacob first, even though he wanted Rachel, the beautiful one that he saw at the well. And here it is, and he thought that he was working for Rachel for those 7 years, but the daughter ended up giving him Leah on the night of the wedding. And when Jacob woke up the next morning after already having sex with her, he was like, what in the... Because that's not Rachel, that was Leah. And depending on how you want to interpret what the Bible says, that Leah was, some translations say, ugly, weak eyes, like all this other stuff, but it's like it talks about Rachel being beautiful and her figure and whatever else. So he didn't even want Leah. He's like, I wanted Rachel, but then Laban the father was like, yeah, but we can't give away the youngest daughter first. That's not how this works. But if you work for me a little bit longer, then you can have Rachel too. And he's like, all right, cool, because he wanted Rachel just that badly. He's like, all right, I'll do it. So at the end of the bridal week, okay, so now he's actually married to two sisters. The thing about it is that Leah was the one who was not pretty. She was unloved. She was unwanted. She was in competition with her own sister for her husband, for their husband, sister wives, Real Housewives of Jerusalem. And what she started doing was what a lot of women, even now, still kind of do. They just start, I'll find a way for him to love me. Because even though Rachel was the beautiful one, she wasn't able to have any children initially. Whew. So Leah was unloved and unwanted, but she was able to pop out babies. Rachel was beautiful, and she was the one who was chosen, but she couldn't have any kids at first. And I realized that's also like a lot of you. On the outside, people would have no idea because you're beautiful. You got it all together. The people don't know there's that one thing that's missing that is eating you up all the time. Leah wanted love. Rachel wanted to be able to produce. And there was this battle going back and forth. Like they're going back and forth. And then, Leah's popping out babies. And Rachel was like, okay, well, let me just give my maidservant. You go have sex with my husband. Because a lot of us, we start taking matters into our own hand when we get tired and frustrated when God isn't moving fast enough. So she's like, you know what, just have sex with my maidservant. And then that way, at least I can have some type of children. And then, of course, after a while, like Leah's still popping out babies like Skittles. And then Leah was like, wait a minute, I'm not having any babies anymore. So then she actually went and gave her maidservant, like Jacob is literally having sex with Leah and Rachel and both of their 4 women he is having sex with. And just, of course, and this is where the tribe, the 12 tribes of Israel come from. But anyway, I deal with a lot of Leahs who are unloved, unwanted, second choice, feeling set aside. But I also deal with a lot of Rachels. Financially, good to go. Outside, they're beautiful. Nice house, nice car, great job, the whole 9. But they feel set aside because it's like, why don't I have a husband? Why don't I have a man? Why hasn't God blessed me in this one area yet? Which one are you, a Leah or are you a Rachel? Either way, both of them, low self-esteem. Because when you feel like you got to start competing and you got to do all this extra work, no, ma'am. So like I said, when you are actually aware of who you are, you do things differently. There's nothing wrong with desiring, and there's nothing wrong with praying and preparing, because that's what I do. I deal with single Christian women who say, I have done it wrong. I want to prepare for my husband. I want a husband. I want marriage. I want love. Okay, cool. Even as a dating coach, cool. I do all of that. But let me tell you something, working with me, you're going to get this Jesus and you're going to get this Bible. Because if you're just wanting someone to help you connect to a man, I am not the coach or minister for you. God called me to prepare his daughters for kingdom marriages. I'm not helping you just pick up somebody. That's not on my, we're not doing that. We're not. So I don't mind working with women that want to prepare and that want help, with dating and whatever. And yeah, even godly dating is always DWC, dating while Christian. We can do all of that. And one of those things we are going to be looking at, I would take them through a relationship readiness assessment. Are you even ready for a relationship? And I'm going to determine that. I don't care about all this superficial stuff that people are talking about today. You got to secure the bag and do this and what. Do you know how to communicate? Are you respectful? Are you selfish? Like, let's look at, like, do you have good self-esteem? Are you healed? Are you on the rebound? Like, where's all of this? Where are the desires coming from? What is your relationship like with God? Do you even know the roles of a wife? Let's look at all of these different things. Do you know the roles of a husband? We go through all of those different things first. So it's understanding when you have that intimate relationship with God, that's when things are actually different for you. Because as I always say, in my presence, when I do coaching, transformation has to take place. It has to take place. Because I know that I'm anointed for this. And I also know what God has called me to do. I'm not worried about what anybody else might say about me. I'm not worried about how anyone else might, judge or criticize or critique, the videos, the coaching, or what. God, did I do that well? Did I handle that the way that you wanted me to handle it? Is there something you want me to change to my strategy, to my sessions? Is there something that you want me to speak about because of my intimate relationship with God? So in his presence, I have no choice but to transform, and me and him are a team. So when I work with ladies in my presence, you have no choice but to transform. And if you don't work with me, that's cool. But in the presence of God, you have no choice but to transform. And he will transform that low self-esteem. Because a lot of us, truth be told, we are operating under the spirit of other esteem. We are going based on what others think about us, or what we think others think about us, or what others have said about us, or what we think others are even saying. Like we let other people and most of them, they're not even thinking about you. They ain't thinking about us. They're not. So why are you giving somebody that much power? Don't give no don't give nobody else that power, right? This is that time that I need you to cultivate your relationship with God, have an intimate relationship with God. I cannot stress to y'all enough. Satan is out to destroy your future marriage even now. Even now, he is out to destroy it. And that's why some of us are having sexually intimate relationships with men that should not even be in our heads, let alone our beds. Like they shouldn't even be connected to us. And it's like we're wondering why we're still single or why he hasn't put a ring on it. Because you're being sexually intimate. Y'all ain't even emotionally intimate. He can't even really see into you. You're like, why can't he see me as being a wife? Because he doesn't see you as a wife. Because you're not, who he wants. Like, he doesn't want to be with you. And because he's not going to be able to see you because you have God in you, he can't even see God. So how do you expect him to see you? Like, and these men that some of us are attached to, some of y'all are attached to, you got to separate, because those are blessing blockers, as I always talk about. And those of you who have done the No More Lonely Nights workshop, y'all already know. Y'all have blessing blockers, you have place fillers, your bed is not empty. So how do you expect a man to come along when God, I told y'all, God protects his sons too. So some of y'all, some of y'all, there is a man. He's just on the sidelines and he's like, he doesn't know why he can't seem to get to you. Approach, try to start, because he already knows who you're supposed, but God is letting him know, like, she ain't ready yet. Just hold on. I'm still working on her. So some of y'all are waiting for this dude to act right. But until you see that he can't see you, that he can't even see into you, and until you get him out the way, you got this other dude over here just in limbo, in escrow, just held up. Like, get all these people away. Okay. Intimacy in a relationship or with a person, it means allowing them to know your greatest fears, your greatest desires, your dreams, everything. And I think the problem is that we have bypassed the getting to know someone and we've gone straight to giving our loyalty, commitment, love, bodies, secrets, everything. And then we look foolish when they don't cherish what we freely gave away. Stop. Stop doing that. You got to heal from the part of you that keeps forging bad connections and then crying when you got hurt. And it seems like everyone wants a story to tell. I don't know if y'all have realized that. Maybe it's just me because I pay attention a lot to what single women post, say, whatever. And I don't know, maybe it's just because of what I do. But it seems like a lot of people just want a story to tell. They want to talk about, how this person, this dude, I remember this one guy I dealt with. Yeah, let me tell you about the dude I'm with now. That's why I had to. And it's like everyone just wants to have some type of story to tell, and they want to have a sob story, and they want to talk about, their experience with, narcissists. Now, let me explain something. What I do know is that we do overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. I know that seriously, like, our testimonies mean a lot. Share it if it means helping someone else. But again, I'm talking about those who enjoy being broken and having a story on how they got played or how they got hurt because it gets them attention. Some people, they so badly want attention that they love having a story. That's what we have to be mindful of, all right? When it comes to intimacy, there are 6 gradual stages to intimacy, and I'm only going to share one of them with you today. There are 6 stages, gradual stages to intimacy, and stage 1, you're strangers. The number one stage, like the first stage of intimacy, you're strangers with this person. You don't know each other. You have no idea if you'll end up liking or disliking each other. This is where you share information on a very superficial level. No personal info is revealed. But the problem is that a lot of us as women, and especially those of us who have been single for a while, those of us who are also dealing with loneliness, and I'm not talking about singleness, because loneliness is when you're sad about your singleness. A lot of us, we attempt to put it all out in this stage when we first meet a guy. We do the most. That's when we immediately want them to know we're abstinent. I'm not having sex. I want marriage. You know Jesus? You looking to get married soon? Like all of chill, chill, chill. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. Listen, some of you are already in TSI, the Sassy Institute. That is this ministry's 12-month self-paced program that helps women prepare all the way. It started with healing, then contentment. Last month was actually purpose and spiritual gifts. And this month's course, it's help me attract a good man. And the Bible study is going to be I am enough. We are going to tackle all issues one by one. Like each month has its own separate course and Bible study. The issue is that too many women want to bypass the preparation stage and they want to go straight to love. Not on my watch. It's why my program is in order. So many people are rushing the process, and it's why relationships are failing, and it's why marriages are ending. It's why there is turmoil and even unhappy marriages. Preparation, you got to prepare. Like I did a podcast last week on marriage prep to talk about that, because some of you believe that you can't prepare. There's no such thing as preparing. Like you're going to be ready when you get tossed in it. Lies. Because if that was the case, then why are there divorces for reasons such as infidelity, marrying the wrong person, raising children, religious, views and religion in general, finances, all of these different things if you can't prepare at all? And especially when you spend time cultivating your spirit, having an intimate relationship with God, you will hear from him before you even go and connect to that man or marry that man. And that's where it all starts. Cultivating that relationship with God. When I did the No More Lonely Nights workshop, the number one way for you to get your man, your husband, not a husband or man, cultivate that relationship with God. That's what it's all about. All right. Speaking of podcasts, every Friday of this month, I'm going to be revealing the remaining 5 stages to intimacy. Yesterday's podcast, I went more in depth a little bit as far as stage 1 is concerned, but the remaining 5 Fridays of this month, I'm going to be revealing the remaining 5 stages to intimacy. You don't want to miss it. All right. I'm going to drop the link right here for the podcast. I may also share it on the SAS Facebook page. I don't know. But ladies, join the club. Enroll in TSI. There are 3 tiers, but tier 2, it's $99 a month, but you get like whatever the SAS product of the month is that month. You automatically get it for free, but then you also get access to that digital course. You get your own login information. You log in. Again, it's self-paced. You do your work. And like I said, for each course content, each week, there are it's several things. There's like videos, there's audio, there's assignments, there's literature. It's a lot it's a course, okay? But then you also get access to the Bible study. And it's like, that's, again, course, I coach a little bit with the courses, but with the Bible study, I teach. Because we can't leave God out of this. We can't. Absolutely, we just absolutely cannot. So even though we've started back in February, you can still hop in now to start getting caught up. Again, it's self-paced, and I need you to be a part of it, because we're going to be proactive in this season, and we're going to keep busy. So I say busy, but we're going to stay focused. Because when you're idle and when you're not on post and when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, that's when the devil comes. That's when temptation. Let me end with this. I've always found it funny. David. How that David wasn't on his post. David was not where he was supposed to be when he actually saw Bathsheba. And then, had sex with her, even though that wasn't his wife, because she was somebody else's wife. He wasn't where he was supposed to. This is Satan can do some of his best work when we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, or when we have too much time on our hands. I'm not saying, stay busy for the sake of being busy, because a lot of us, we're busy, but we're not even productive. Use this time to be productive and to be proactive. Then you don't have to even deal with all the loneliness and temptation and frustration and that ex who won't go away, and this guy who's hopping in your DMs, but it's really, you ain't supposed to be talking to him, but you're bored and you're quarantined, you ain't got nothing else to do. If you're gonna quarantine and chill, let it be with me, all right? Be productive, seriously. All no, seriously, enroll, but be productive with me, all right? Let's get started. Listen, God bless y'all. Take care. Have a happy Saturday. I love you all. I really do. I love what I do. Can you tell? I love to talk. But connect with me. I look so I so very much look forward to connecting with you in some way, even just doing these videos. I know a lot of people love these videos and everything, and I love doing them. So that's just that. Listen, God bless. Take care. Y'all have a good one. Bye bye.